Hey, what is going on, everyone? It is Zach here, and if you're watching this video, that means that you want to learn about filing tax extensions for your federal tax returns. And that's really important to know this information, so you've come to the right place. In this video, I'm going to tell you how easy it is to file a federal tax extension. I'm going to give you 5 different, very compelling reasons on why you should probably file a tax extension. By the end of this video, you should pretty much know everything that you realistically would need to know on why to file a tax extension. The first thing that I want to mention is that right now in this year, it is 2020, and we have already gotten an automatic tax extension until July 15th, 2020. Usually the tax filing deadline is April 15th, 2020, but due to extenuating circumstances that you might know about if you're watching this, right now in 2020 we have a tax extension until July 15th, 2020. But if you're watching this, you need to know that you can still get a tax extension beyond that date, up until October 15th, 2020. So usually a tax filing extension is good up until October 15th, 2020. And that is the same with this year and pretty much in most years, probably many years to come as well. So that could possibly give you an extra 3 months on top of the already 3-month extension we have. So from the original April 15th date, that is a potential 6-month extension in order to file your taxes. And like I said, I'm going to give you some very compelling reasons on why you might want to do that. But first, let's talk about how you can file this extension, because that is very important. Well, you can file it online through e-file, or you can file it through the mail. I'd highly recommend that you do the former and file it online. If you're using a tax preparation software such as TurboTax, like I recommend, then you can definitely file it straight on there. You can file your tax extension, and pretty much the tax extension is going to be automatic, and it's going to save you from paying any kind of penalty and interest on taxes that you would owe if you were to basically just say, well, I'm not going to file my taxes by the deadline. So getting extension is really important. But if you want to do it the old-fashioned paper way, let me show you the form. It is Form 4868, and it is on the screen right now. And as you can see, it has all the instructions on the form, but right here is the most important part. You can see you can do your tax liability, your estimated, any payments that you've made for it, an estimated balance due, and just some other information on it. And usually it is automatically approved, and you will have no penalties for filing that out. If you're doing it on your tax filing software, it will have all of this built in, and it will send that to the IRS very easy, so you won't actually need to physically fill out that form. But that is the paper form if you really wanted to do it by hand and send it in by the mail. But e-filing your tax filing extension is extremely quickly, and you pretty much get it automatically within a few days. So that's what you need to know about how to file your tax extension. Now, before I go on, I just want to say, if you are liking this video, do me a quick favor real quick and just hit that like button, give me that thumbs up, and hit subscribe if you like this kind of information, because I'm putting out information on personal finance, taxes, investing, all kinds of different things every single week, currently Tuesdays and Fridays at 3 p.m. You know, I'd really appreciate it if you help me out by liking the video and subscribing to the channel. I know I've got plenty of information that I'm going to be putting out that is going to be beneficial to you. So consider subscribing and liking the video. I'd really appreciate it. Now let's get back to it. Let's start with reason number 1 on why you might want to file a tax extension. And the first one is that you have missing information, or missing forms and things like that. Depending on the complexity of your tax return, you might need a lot of different forms, in order to file your taxes correctly, and a lot of different documentation and things like that. So if you are missing any kind of information when it comes to that first tax filing deadline for any reason really, and you're like, man, I need to scramble and get everything together, don't sweat it. Submit a tax filing extension, and you'll usually get approved very easily, and then you have more time in order to find that missing information. And reason number 2 is very similar, and that is inaccurate information. If you've been looking at any of your tax documents, any things like that, and all your documentation, and something just doesn't seem right, and there's like some inaccurate information on there, it happens a lot more often than you would think. So you do really need to pay attention to these tax documents to make sure that you are submitting everything correctly, because ultimately it is your responsibility to file your taxes correctly. So if you have any kind of inaccurate information, you definitely need to get that stuff fixed. And that might take a long time depending on who you're dealing with and who you need to get that information from. So submitting a tax filing extension for that reason can be a really great saver for you to have that extra time in order to get that inaccurate information fixed. Reason number 3 is, what if you're going to be gone, or you're going to be traveling, you're going to be away during the tax time, Maybe you've barely got your stuff kind of together, all your documents and everything together, but you're actually going to be traveling, whether that be, for work, for business, or maybe even, vacation and personal reasons. If you're going to be gone during that tax filing time, you should probably submit a extension just so you can get a little bit of extra time when you get back from wherever you're going, so that you can just take care of it then, instead of stressing about it while you're gone, on vacation or on work or whatever it may be. So if you're going to be gone during the tax time when you plan on filing your taxes, for pretty much any reason, you should file a tax extension, because why not? And similar to that, maybe you're just going to be extremely busy during tax time. Depending on what kind of job you work in, or whatever you're doing. What if you just have a lot of stuff going on, during that time, and you just don't really have time to be filing your taxes, in that time frame? April 15th is right there, in springtime. A lot of businesses have a lot of things going on during spring. And right now in 2020, July 15th, that's like the middle of the summer. A lot of people have things going on in the middle of the summer. So if you're going to be really busy during tax time, consider filing an extension, just so that you can have, a different time of the year to file your taxes. It could be very beneficial to you. And reason number 5 to file a tax extension is, what if you have an unexpected life event? Anything can come up, any kind of big life event can come up during tax time, or, around that time. And you might be really distracted from filing your taxes. If you have the loss of a loved one, for example, you might not be thinking, number one priority in your head is to get my taxes done. You might be having to, plan a funeral, or, help someone out in the hospital, or whatever it may be. If you have a big unexpected life event that you kind of need to direct your attention to, and not really direct your attention to taxes at this moment, then yes, you can file a tax extension, and that's a very good reason for doing so. Of course, there could be many different reasons why you should file a tax extension. Let me just give one example based on everything that I just said. Let's say you get a form from your investment broker. Let's say on the form that you had capital gains, short-term capital gains of $10,000, but you're like, wait a second, I didn't sell any of my assets within under a year and realize a capital gain. They were all long-term capital gains. So, if you can look back and kind of prove that, you might have to actually get that tax document amended through your investment advisor or your brokerage company. So you can kind of, you'd have to kind of go back and forth with them in order to get that form fixed. And in that meantime, if taxes are coming up and your information is inaccurate, then you might need to file a tax extension so that you can get that fixed. That's a very important moment. Every one of those 5 things that I mentioned are very important and very good reasons for why you should file a tax extension. And if you're watching this video right now, I can already tell that you want to learn, you want to better yourself when it comes to taxes, when it comes to personal finance, when it comes to investing, or something like that. And so I would urge you to actually watch this video that I created. It's a little bit longer, but it's full of really good information, and it's about financial independence. And if you don't know what financial independence is, basically, really quickly summed up, financial independence is gaining enough wealth to where you could technically live off of your wealth instead of relying on work income. It is the ultimate form of financial security, and it requires a lot of dedication to saving, investing, minimizing your taxes and things like that. I put together this resource that is a full guide on financial independence and how you can achieve it, how pretty much anyone can achieve it. And I think that if you're watching this video, then it can definitely benefit you. So I would highly urge you to check out that video. I'm going to link it in the description below. I'm going to put it in a comment below, and it should be popping up right about now, right next to me. You can go ahead and click there and watch that video about financial independence. And if you enjoyed watching this video, I'd really appreciate it if you could just give me a like on this channel. It really helps me out. And consider subscribing to the channel, because every single week I am putting out new information on personal finance, taxes, investing, saving, and things like that. Right now it is Tuesdays and Fridays at 3 p.m. So please consider giving me a like and a subscribe, and I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that it can help you out. I'm Zach from OnCashflow.com, and I hope to see you next time.